Established over 100 years ago, Watkins Books is one of the world's oldest and leading independent bookshops specializing in esoterica. We have the widest selection of esoteric books in the UK, and our friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to assist you in a unique ambience of our shop. So come and visit us in the heart of London as we're open every day.
The comments and views expressed on The More Show are those of the people that make them and do not necessarily reflect the view of Kevin Moore, The More Show, or this radio station and its affiliate or sponsors. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Broadcasting from Amsterdam and across the world online. You're now watching The More Show and I'm your host, Kevin Moore. For the next hour, I'll be covering subjects that will open up your mind and provide you with information you may have never heard before. On today's show, I'm about to be joined with my guest, Ivan Teller. Now, Ivan's speciality is alien and reptilian channeling. He provides weekly extraterrestrial channeling on his growing YouTube channel with teachings and information ascending the human consciousness. Ivan Teller, welcome to the show.
Whoa, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We did try to do this via video, but we're just having a few problems with bandwidth, which is the story of my life right now. So, yes, so we've got you on by audio. I'm very, like I said off air, grateful to have you on. And I appreciate you allowing us just to work around me as well right now, because I've just had a bit of a busy schedule. So thank you for rescheduling this interview. Well, you know, I came across you many months ago now. It was actually through YouTube. That's where you sort of, you caught my attention. How long have you been on the YouTube platform doing the channelings that you do for?
It's been since last year, April of 2015.
Right.
So.
Right. And was that a conscious decision to put yourself out on there? Because, I might be wrong here, but I think previously you might have called yourself a bit of a shy person, and you really put yourself out there when you put this type of information on YouTube.
Yeah, it was. Before doing this, I thought about doing like movie reviews, like what you see on YouTube, and it's like, it doesn't really feel right. I don't want people to see me and stuff. I tried other ways, and then I got into the aliens and I saw channeling, and I did a lot of the psychic. I had my psychic awakening before the channelings, and then I saw other channelings on YouTube, and my guides were just slowly pushing me towards. I was connecting to aliens through psychic, tapping into the aliens' energies, and then I started channeling. My guys are pushing me, or nudging me, and I felt the grays around. And once I started to do it, I have to put this on video and I have to put it online. So
yeah.
So that's what happened.
Absolutely. Okay. So many questions for you. Let's just go back to the beginning here for you as well, because all stories have some beginning somewhere. Let's actually go back to your childhood as well. Now, I believe, I may be wrong here, but you don't have much of a recollection of actually your childhood years, do you?
Not really, no. Some of it has been blocked. I mean, I remember here and there, but a lot of it has been blocked. But as for like my alien connections, I never really was aware of them. But from what I've been told, I have a lot of reptilian that was growing with me as a child, so it was kind of frustrating growing up because of that. I don't fully understand it, but it's not easy being reptilian here. Let's put it that way.
Now, when you say that, do you mean that there's a past life or future life aspect of you that you've had this reptilian incarnation?
Oh yeah, I've had many reptilian incarnations, and I'm part reptilian, Zeta Gray. I guess I'm a Zeta Gray starseed because I have the ingrown, the eyes that are kind of deep set. That's like what a Zeta would look like. So yeah, this is Anunnaki lifetimes. So yeah, all this is from past life, and it's all my DNA also.
Right.
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay. There was a question I was going to ask you just previously to asking you that one. it left my mind. One of the reasons for getting you on as well is to give you a bit more publicity, if I can do, and to share my audience with what you do. In your opinion, why have you agreed to come on to do this interview as well?
To share the message of we are heading towards first contact, to allow other people to understand they can channel, and I'm just they can use me as a guide, to either do it better or however, and to follow in these footsteps, or just to receive messages to find a healing, because we're all extraterrestrials here, and we just don't remember it.
Okay.
And this is just, the main messages is coming through now. Of course, I've been building up to this, but now it's just that we are heading into more of a galactic world where we know more about our alien ancestors. So that's why I'm here. A lot has happened since you contacted me and now. So a lot more I'm learning about these messages since you contacted me. So it's been quite interesting.
That's interesting. Now, well, I appreciate you coming on, because I was thinking today, right, try to put myself in his shoes. What's it going to be like to, having to answer questions, or, even if we keep this conversational, which I prefer to do, just what is that like for you? Because I want it to be easy on you in a sense that it helps you, this interview, and it also, like you say, spreads your messages or your teachings as well. I can imagine it's not easy for you sometimes to put yourself out there, even to come on these types of interviews. So, but then how else do you sort of share your message as well? So yeah, I appreciate what you're doing and the reasons for you coming on. Okay then, well yeah, so. I mean, my childhood, I'll just say this, do I remember it very well? Well, not all of it, of course not. And, was I quite a bit of a loner in some respects? Yes, I was. And it wasn't until I got a bit older that I sort of, discovered myself, if you can call it that. And I can sort of sympathise with you a bit as well, where probably that, your upbringing was obviously different to mine and different to anyone else's, but I guess you found yourself in the channeling, haven't you? Really, that's my point.
Yes. Oh yes, definitely. Well, I had my psychic awakening around what was it? It was around 2011, and I forget exactly what the dates are anymore. It's been a while, but where I started connecting more to a psychic community on doing, like group channelings, not as for psychic channelings, not for actually alien channelings, but connecting to guides and giving people messages. And that was around 2013, if I believe right, or 14, if really. But yeah, I started to go more into who I am during that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so who were you previous to finding yourself on this path, and and going back to your sort of early years? What would there be any message you may give your earlier self, that you, from what you've experiences that you've gained?
Well, yeah, I want to say right now I think I'm 37 now. So 37. So before, yeah, I was pretty much a loner. I tried to before I got involved with this. I was trying to go into screenwriting as becoming a writer and learning the process of screenwriting, which takes many years.
Of course.
And funny thing is, a lot of alien stuff goes into a lot of that because I had science fiction stories. I was always attracted to that. But I created my own aliens, never connecting to grays or never did any research on aliens. But I did create my own. So basically, I was channeling, and writing is a form of channeling, such as music. So a long time I did that. I even wrote a novel also that has nothing to do with aliens, but so I figured that was where my path was, and it still can be in the future. So that was as for telling myself anything, I don't think so. In the past, no, I just, a lot of times, like how you feel like nothing's going your way and you feel like giving up, and I never gave up. I just kept on trying things and exploring new things. I did a lot of website design type stuff and trying to figure out where's my place in the world. I thought I was writing and I wasn't super successful. Tried computers, that didn't fulfill me either. And now I'm doing this. So I just started exploring different things, and
yeah.
Even with the psychic work, that didn't really feel right. Like doing readings, and this is kind of the same thing, but a lot more exciting. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. That's an important part of it as well, to just talk about those two sides and why you didn't do that, which you've kind of answered there. But I still want to get into it. In Dolores Cannon's work, I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She was a researcher into sort of lost knowledge, and she always used to say that the people on this planet who feel they don't belong here, it's because maybe they've not had many lifetimes of incarnations on this planet. Is that how you felt sometimes? Do you think?
Yes and no. It's. Do you find your place? Do you feel like your work? Is your work contributing to the world? If it feels like you're not contributing to the world, it does feel like you are a foreigner here. Even if because I think many that are, it all depends. Because I've had many lifetimes here, and I don't feel like I belong. But more as I do this, I do feel like I belong. So part of me feels like it doesn't. Part of me says it does. So it's different for everyone. But that is true. There are many souls that come here. There's different ways of looking at that, because many souls have their first lifetime here and are on this timeline. Same with us, and they are connecting, maybe not perfectly, but they are exploring more things than a lot of us have been here a long time, where we're just ready to get out of here. So so it's different for everybody. I think that's one way of looking at it, but I think it depends on the success rate. If you're finding yourself very successful here, like you're doing what you want, I think then you feel more connected to this world. When you're not getting what you want, you feel like, what am I doing here? So I think that's part of it. So
I think that's so important. That's so important. And do you think you've found a new tribe of people, as in your tribe of people, as you've been true to yourself and gone down the work of this channeling, so that people have just come out the woodwork, in the sense, even if they're just online, you've found new friends, a new community that supports what you do?
Yes, I feel this is definitely my path. But I've been looking forever for my path and never really finding it. So yes, this is definitely, I feel like I'm in the right place, that's for sure. As for where I'm going I have no idea, but I'm not too worried about that.
That's a beautiful way of looking at it. And I know that the community that you have built when you do your channelings online, they're very supportive. I've watched them back. It's very nice to have that kind of supportiveness around you whilst you are channeling, because it just increases the energy of the channeling. I'm sure it does.
Yes, it does. Yeah, the more that agree to this connection, feel positive, the stronger the connection. Yes.
Yeah. I still say it's a very brave thing what you've done. I mean, you've literally had to shred all your ego to put this kind of stuff online, because for you to do this, you can't do it coming from ego based, because no one would do that.
Yeah, just know, And if it's ego, it's the good kind. So yeah, it's the kind that wants others to be a part of this. It's the sharing ego. We all have some, but yeah, it's not a negative ego at all. It's the part of sharing and helping the world go into more of a positive direction, which I do feel.
Yeah.
We're just in the beginning of it, definitely.
Yes, absolutely. And do you have a partner?
Not at this time. No, I did have a relationship with a girlfriend, but that kind of fizzled out. So, and I've been so busy recently with because I work a full-time job.
Of course.
And I do private sessions on the side. So, I have a full-time job that's kind of part-time. So if there's a private session, I can take off work if I know about it ahead of time, and do the private session and go back to work. So I have that going on right now. So
yeah. Okay.
So right. So yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to butt in there. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, then I like that space you're coming from. That space you're coming from is almost saying, I surrender to whatever is going to be. And by coming from that space, you allow the universe to flow in, and you just then don't know who's going to come your way when it's the right time for you both.
Exactly. That's the way I'm looking at it right now, definitely.
Did you always look at it that way?
Yes. Yeah, I've kind of given up on looking. Just sort of go with the flow, and right now I'm happy with the way things are going, but yeah, it'd be nice to meet somebody, definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's, there's a great saying that I've been using recently. I've been putting it into my vlogs as well, which is, whatever arises, love that.
Yes.
It's almost just another couple of words for surrender in a sense. It was Matt Kahn's channeled saying. I don't know if you've heard of Matt Kahn, but yeah, and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, right. That's interesting then. So, do you like the word channeling? Is that a word that you're okay with? I mean, or would you want to call it something else? Do you call it something else sometimes?
Right now, channeling seems to work out. It's not trans channeling. It's like a higher, kind of like what Daryl Anka said about his channeling Bashar. It's like you go into a higher frequency. So
Yes, because I had Daryl Anka on just about a week ago it was. It's on the channel now. And he did say that actually he is fully consciously present when channeling. And it's almost like you do sort of go take yourself down, or whatever your procedure is to take yourself into the channeling mode, but you are just behind the driver's seat. You are there. You're part of the session. Could you agree with that? Or
yes, in part, yes, because I can feel them going through me, trying to find as for moving my arms and helping the connection and going through my mind, I can see them, because they go through my memories, my thoughts or their thoughts for that time. It's quite fascinating.
How do your co-workers and family take on what you do? I mean, are they quite supportive?
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because my co-workers at work don't know anything about this, and my family knows nothing about it either.
Right. Okay. And is that are you bothered about them discovering, or is it like well, whatever will be will be?
Yeah, whatever will be right now. Because I have a friend at work that's a ufologist that looks up UFOs. And it's like he hasn't found me yet, so I'm not gonna say anything either. He might not believe it's me either. So if he does see me on YouTube, so. Because my family's not ready for it yet. Once once my name is in the big lights, or if I'm on CNN, then I guess I'll have to tell them. Let's put it that
way. Yeah. Okay. No, that's interesting. That you. Yeah. Well, it's either going to go to one or two ways. I'm sure for yourself, it'll be quite. You'll be prepared to be surprised that actually they may be quite supportive, because if you're not hurting yourself or other people, and the messages are coming from love and teachings, well, it's not that bad, is it?
No, it's not. No. Yeah, I don't think it's time yet, but it's coming. Yes.
Yes.
It's definitely.
Yes. And, what is there any sort of channels out there that inspire you right now, or that you are, that you resonate with?
Yeah. Well, the main one who I found when I started doing this, Jim Charles, is with Human Colony. That's the one that inspired me to go into this route. Never thinking I'd ever go into this route, but that's the one. That's the strongest one that I connected to. My guides, there's many channelers out there, but my guides led me to him first. It's like, this is the direction to go. This is the direction to channel many beings, not just one being. So, but all the other channelers I do look at on occasion to learn from them. But it's like the channel many beings was the right direction for me to go. So.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that's interesting. That is, yeah, and
Yes.
just going back to well, actually, no, actually, let's move this forward just a little bit then. What was there any sort of books that have you ever read the Seth material, or ever studied Casey or any other channelists, or have you sort of just done this without any reference from anyone else, and really so that you can say, well, look, I'm saying the same thing as maybe what others have said, and I haven't even read their books or know about their work.
I know of. I mean, I know I have a channeling book that I haven't really looked at. Someone gave it to me back in 2011. I looked through it, but I feel like I wasn't ready for it. Never thinking I'll be doing this. And I know about Edgar Casey because of Atlantis, and I was doing writing on Atlantis, like a fictional writing, so that's where I found Edgar Casey. So I definitely looked at him, and Sylvia Brown also. Sylvia Brown does a lot of trans channeling also. So, and there's Bob Hickman. He's on the Spirit Channel. He's on YouTube, and I was trans channeling there also before I ever thought I'd ever go into this direction. So, and when I found Jim Charles, that kind of like, with the Human Colony, that's where really everything. That's where everything changed.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yeah, because Sylvia Brown, she passed away. Was it a couple of years back now?
Yeah, I think it was. I forget. 2011. I forget exactly.
Yeah, but a lot of her work remains online to watch, and yeah.
Yeah, I studied her before she passed away.
Yeah, yeah. I think the way the form of channeling that you do, where you're quite conscious. I was saying this to Daryl Anker, where you're consciously channeling and you're sort of not trance channeling. I think it's quite difficult. I think it is because you're consciously present. There's that part of you sometimes that comes in and that wants to resist the information, and it kind of blocks or degrades acts like a filter in a way. How have you got round that? Is it just because you seem to me to be very, you just allow the information to flow, but how have you stopped your own filters from blocking some of it?
Yeah, it takes a while to. Well, I'm like semi-conscious. I'm not fully conscious. I'm like somewhat. I don't always hear everything. Some things I do remember, but usually I don't really retain what's going on. Sometimes, but not often. Okay. But as for, I've received on. Basically, I give myself a message: do not be involved with the channel. I will not be involved with the connection before the being comes through. I always say that. So that takes a lot of get used to.
I see. Right. Okay. I bet it does. Yeah, I bet it does. How do you get in contact with your guides then? I mean, because you've talked about your guides here. Who are your guides, and how did you get in contact?
Well, I had a spirit guide by the name of Ulysses. And Gabrielle, sorry. That's a female guide. Around 2001, that's why I learned about both of them. And through meditation, I saw them, and I did past life regression with both of them also. That's how I know of them. Recently, Ulysses kind of got removed as a guide, and I have a new guide by the name of Apollo. And it was funny how he came through, but he just showed up, and Ulysses kind of got pushed to the side. So through meditation is how I speak to them.
Right. And do you meditate? Is it once a day you meditate, or?
Sometimes 3 or 4 times a day now.
Really?
Maybe
Wow.
here and there. It's not very long, but it depends on how my energy is. Yeah.
I see. So maybe as you've spiritually grown, as you've become more aware and more consciously aware, your guides have moved on to the next stage. Very interesting. When you're doing a channeling session, what role do the guides play, and are you conscious that they're there sometimes?
Yes, they are there. I feel more of the entities coming through. I mean, my guides are there to protect me and keep light coming through. But of course, I have the power with all of that. But yes, they do assist me as I ground and as I allow these beings to come through. So that's where they play.
Yeah. Have they ever talked about any books to be written?
As for me writing a book,
Yeah, have they ever talked about that with you, that there may be some material to be written?
oh, probably in the future, yeah, or a documentary. The way things are going, they make great documentary material from what it looks like right now.
Yes. Well. Okay. So you've okay. So you're open to a number of different things. But I think again, as you said at the beginning of this interview, you're very much just go with the flow, not planning too much for the future. Just let it flow. Let it flow a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, is it mainly a positive experience from your perspective when you do the channeling, or is that due to your intentions before you start the channeling that you invoke that?
Yes, I invoke positive intentions in the beginning of every channeling. Now, there are some that are sometimes in the webinar that are not very positive, and they can send out negative vibes that will affect my channeling ability, which has happened in the past. So, but yeah, I always put out positive intentions, light to the world, positive light, and that helps a positive being to come through also.
Yeah. Thank you for that. How much have your issues been raised, or your issues been placed in the open when starting this channel? And I say that from the perspective of, you have to fix yourself before you can heal others. So
Yes.
Have your issues been coming up to the surface for you?
Apparently, I don't have a whole lot. Yeah, in some regard, I don't have a whole lot of issues, as far as I can tell. So, yes, but there hasn't been that many, far as I know. But yes, it has. But not a whole lot. I think I'm pretty cleared out of a lot. I've been doing a lot of past life releasing, so a lot of those issues have been coming up. The more I release, such as lifetimes of the Anunnaki, the Zetas, the reptilians, or the tall blonde Nordics, the more I release, the stronger my connection connects with these entities that come through.
Right. Do you think you've been the good, the bad, and the ugly in some previous lives?
Oh yeah, I've been all those things. Yeah, I've just been everything. Yeah, I know a lot of these trolls that are on the internet. Is like, trust me, some of us have been a lot worse than those guys.
Well, maybe you have to be everything for consciousness to experience it, for you to experience it.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. There's no.
Yeah, just like so it's like Yeshua had to have very negative lifetimes to become a positive being. Just the way it works.
Yeah, it's just the way it works. Yeah. Okay. And because I'm trying to, okay. So that applies to everyone. I think that does. That applies to everyone. Yes. Okay. So when you're channeling, then, well, actually, before we just get into the channeling a bit more, let's just touch on something you mentioned as well before, which is mediumship, psychic abilities. You don't give those type of readings. It seems to me that, please stop me if I'm wrong, it seems to me that the channeling is not really for that. It seems to be more of teaching information.
Yes. It can be for a reading. I mean, I do. So people submit questions to the website, and that's like a psychic. That's like a mini psychic reading. So I do some of that, but most of it is most majority of it is teaching. Yes.
Yes, and I bet there's some beautiful teaching information that comes through. Now, it must be therefore that these that you are channeling are very highly spiritually evolved.
Yes. Yeah, they're fourth density, fifth density beings, probably higher than that. Palladian, Yael, reptilian, all different. Pretty much every being you can think of, at least the popular ones. Andromedan.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? That they care so much. They care so much to want to come through. You know, there was something I was thinking about earlier on, in the sense that because I asked Daryl Anker this sort of same question, and when you channel, how do they know that you're going to be channeling for them to be ready to receive what you're going to do? I mean, they might be busy doing something, and it was almost like, well, that isn't the case. I was thinking to myself, are you connecting with an aspect of them that's in the spirit dimension, if we want to call it that, that's already the part of them that's already crossed over, or the part of them that's left over in the spirit dimension? So you're not actually talking to them as they are in their incarnation now. You're talking to an aspect of them that's in the spirit dimension. That's how you're able to access anything at any time, because there is no time on those levels. Or is that not the way you see it?
Some beings, it's a possibility. I channel so many, I don't know all of that. It's a possibility. That's a high possibility. I think I do see some use technology. I can feel them working on their ship. I can see them do it, actually. I can get a visualization. And they use a technology to connect with me. The Nordics use it, the Yael use it. And some are advanced enough when they're in the higher like fifth, sixth densities, they can connect their energy to us a lot easier. And some reptilians can. I think Novak, he's a reptilian. He's a draconian. I don't think he uses technology. I think he just uses his energy. He can transmit it, connect with me.
Wow. Okay, but yeah. Okay. Well, I suppose we're talking about a universe that they are now saying that's potentially infinitive. So it's almost like a Star Trek, Star Wars out there, just from a different perspective. Not quite like that, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of traffic out there in one sense.
Oh yes, definitely. Well, even the Star Trek, Star Wars, a lot of those beings do exist, and they just have not come through, but they do exist. From what I have not made that public recently, they do exist somewhere, definitely.
Well, it makes you think, doesn't it? Where did Lucas get that information from, and where did Gene Roddenberry? Yes. I mean, there was talk actually with Gene that actually he did go to see some channelers.
I wouldn't be surprised. And from what I'm gathering, what I was told, that Star Trek was the Weirin, the human Weirin. The humans came from the feline, depending on who you connect with. Especially when you see some people get a lot of plastic surgery, don't they look like cats? So that's kind of interesting.
That's interesting. Wow.
Back to your organs.
Yeah. And have they ever talked about, I mean, this is maybe a silly question, but have they ever talked about why direct contact has never been made, in a sense?
Yes, we're not ready yet. They have had a couple of contactees. You've seen them on the internet. Of course, I can't think of them right now, but of course, there's one that was connected. I can't think of his name. The one that was connected through the Andromedans. I can't think of his name, of course, but Alex Collier. I forgot about him.
Okay, Alex Collier. Yep.
Yeah, so they do have their contactees. And Alex Collier, I forgot about him. And that never really truly woke me up to what I'm doing now, but that was years ago. That's probably one of the first ones I ever connected to. But what the reason to say that we're not ready yet vibrationally, but we are definitely on our way. And you will see them in the skies, and there's a possible visitation in certain areas. South America is definitely one, maybe Antarctica, but they're not going to a lot of details right now. But
No,
we're on our
no. I mean, for UFO researchers out there, I don't know if you've ever been to any UFO conferences, have you?
No, but yeah, I heard about Alien Con, and maybe in the future, maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Okay, that'd be cool. Well, you get a lot of the same speakers there sometimes from previous years because, I suppose it's, there's not a lot of younger blood coming in to replace them sometimes.
Yeah.
So they've always been, a lot of them, very nuts and bolts, but there are some now moving over to the consciousness field, especially
Yeah.
like what Dolores Cannon was, David Jacobs is, and there's a few others. Dr. Stephen Greer is definitely,
Yes.
and so maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe there is the young blood out there. It's just now shifted the perspective of what this phenomena is.
Yes. Yeah. It's well, like MUFON. I imagine you're aware of who MUFON is.
Sure.
To go to alien sightings. That was pretty much one of the inspirations for me to go into channeling to begin with, was to connect with one of them and channel a Zeta Gray for them. Of course, I'm still waiting for my call back, and that's like over a year ago now. So they can always find me.
Do you think they're ready for that? I mean, that's a very much a nuts and bolts.
I think it's on its way, yeah, because like Project Camelot, I believe Carrie is aware of all the channelings, but yeah, I don't see many channelers on her interview list. I think it's going to eventually, yes. Like these alien conferences, I see more channelers there in the future. Yeah, I'm surprised there's not many there right now. But we're definitely on the way, that's for sure.
Yeah, I see that being the way it's going to go, most definitely. Yes, it's interesting, very, very interesting that the shift that's taking place out there right now. And who would have thought you would have, to yourself, that you would have been part of this, that you would have taken that to baton and run with it, really. And good on you for doing that, because again, I have to say, it takes a lot of balls to do what you've done. Some people will say, oh, it's just people suffering with mental health issues or whatever. No, this is a true phenomena. This is a true, and I can only say that because when I've channeled and I'm halfway through a book, I've just had too much coincidence going on with all sorts of other things. I won't go into detail, but I just know the truth. Do you know what I mean? And you can't take that away from someone.
Yes.
Yeah, you really can't. So yeah, thank you for continuing to do what you do and to follow your heart as well. With some of this teaching information, then obviously it's all you record all your sessions, so people can watch watch anything back on your YouTube channel, can't they?
Yes. And I also put the webinars on SoundCloud for the audio version. So yes.
Okay, well, throughout this interview, we've just been linking up your website, and just for those on a podcast, just what is your website?
It's ivanteller.com, and there you can book a session. I have a Twitter account, I have a Facebook account if you need to contact me. Facebook is probably a better way of contacting me, or through the website. So just search Ivan Teller. I'm pretty easy to find pretty much on everything, as far as I know.
Okay, and on your website as well, you can also book to have a one-to-one reading with yourself.
Yes, with the entity of their choice, yes.
See, that's kind of cool, an entity of your choice. Okay. Do most people come to you then knowing what type of entity they want to bring through?
Usually they have their spirit guides channeled, whatever entity that might be of an alien, like we're in, or whatever, they'll help them with more information about their galactic lifetimes. So it's up in the air. Some ask for the prime creator, which is God or Yeshua, or an angel. So it's all different for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. What's been the most surprising thing you've channeled so far?
Probably the prime creator has probably been the most interesting one. And I've connected to the mantis. Those are pretty out there for humor wise. And the reptilians, those are quite interesting. But the prime creator is probably that one I didn't even know existed really, and I just slowly went into that direction. So that's been probably the biggest surprise as a prime creator, though.
How loving was it?
Oh, very loving, very understanding. He does get angry at times when he has many similar emotions, but not in a negative way. But he does have emotions like we do. He does get frustrated.
What? Yeah, this is incredible. What? Why are we here then? Did you ask him that, or her that, or it that?
Well, why we are here? Well, a message from Buddha from yesterday was to become a stronger soul, which is a very nice answer, actually. To strengthen ourselves.
That is a nice answer. You know, I'm one for promoting. You know, do what you want to do, no matter what it is, as long as it's not hurting anyone else or yourself. Get on and do it, because you're here to have a human experience. Do it.
Yes.
You know, it's with you having a full, part-time job even, but with you having your other leg or foot in the physical realm as well. Do you think that keeps you grounded?
Yes, it does. I realize when people don't have like a normal job, they just do what they want to do, which is good. Your vibration definitely, it goes up quite a bit, and I've had that happen especially on the weekends, and when I go back to work, my vibration goes down. So, but it is good to have your vibration. So the more you're enjoying yourself, the more happiness you have, the higher your vibration goes. Of course, that's why our jobs are here to sometimes lower our vibrations. So, but not always. So it's
that's interesting.
Great. Yeah, it is. So, I do see us going into more of a higher vibration worldwide. The message was around 400 years, depending on free will, depending on what people want. I see our world, at least in the 400-year span, connecting to our galactic friends on a physical level, definitely.
Okay, well that's very interesting then. So they're not saying, please excuse me if I'm wrong here. They're not what's coming through is it's not saying that in our lifetime, I'm 38, you're 37. There's no difference. In our lifetime, we're not going to see contact. It's not going to be like that, or is it? Or could it be? Could it?
It could be still. Everything's up in the air. Could be.
Right.
You can see more visitations. We're going to see something, but I don't know what. So
yeah.
So the world's going to change. You do see that. As for alien information on the world, that might, in our lifetime, we'll see it increase, where it's part of pop culture. And another way to do that is have more movies and books more positive to the aliens. Also, that would help a lot. And that would definitely increase the knowledge of them, that's for sure.
So they're not the greatest fan of Independence Day 2 then?
I don't think so, no. Anything that's negative, no. But they realize it's part of our process, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. But, your work is accessible to those where they may think, well, okay, it's fascinating what he's doing, but how does it change my life? Well, it's the teachings that are coming through.
Yes. Yes, it's it affects everyone differently. The ones that come through me aren't like through Bashar. It's a little bit like galactic updates, like what the aliens are doing. It depends on your question. So it depends on what you want to know. But much of it is galactic updates, and to know a little bit more about the species themselves. But realize we are part of that species, so it's helping us identify ourselves with them also, to relate.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some great spiritual teachings out there. There's some, people's truths in a sense. There's some great truths. Um, do you think that they want us to come up with our own truths as well, rather than
Yes.
just yeah? Okay.
Oh, yes. Don't go by. Yes, go by what you feel. I don't think there's any type of wrong answer either. I think they're all right answers. Because different timelines, there's different Earths, there's different everything. So if you're not connecting with the species, does that mean you can? There's a different version of everything. There's many aspects of us. There's like, I don't know, a million aspects of us or something like that. We're all different. We're all in different timelines, experiencing different experiences. So
Isn't that incredible? You can't get your head around that, could you? There's
yeah,
potentially
that can tire you out.
a million aspects of our soul having incarnations across
Yeah.
parallel, dimensional, this timeline, that timeline. It's yeah. Well, do you think that the level of information that's out there now in all the spiritual books out there, is really just surface level to what the absolute truths are, potential
Yes.
truths are?
Yes, and I wanted to put this out there about like spirituality is seen as entertainment, but I think eventually that will be seen as an actual category, as real, not as entertainment, as a part of us. Eventually I think it will as education, but eventually it will go more into. But yes, there is a vast amount of information, especially about the aliens such as Palladians, Syrians, reptilians. We're at just a small piece of it right now.
No,
You know,
that's true. But from others have said the same as well. Well, this is your truth as well, which I think is fantastic. Are we were we seeded by a particular race?
yes, several races, I believe. Well, some will call it the Elohim was involved with it. The tall blonde Nordics were involved with it. So different races, the Arcturians are involved with it. So in our animal kingdom is here to experience this life with us. Because from what I've been feeling, been told, they are our ancestors, they're our elders, and they're here to bring their teachings to us. Of course, we might not always realize that, but I'm learning more about our animal kingdom, that's for sure.
That's very, very interesting. Yeah, that's different. That's very different.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, this is how I see you as well a little bit, and do tell me no, he's got that wrong. But for me, it's kind of like for you, it's almost like build it and they will come. You're
Yes.
you're not trying to get a shed load of subscribers or views from me to come on my show. I mean, even though that's why I would like it to happen for you, right? That's why I've got you on to help you. But you're not coming from that space. You're coming from, well, if they like my truth, then that I will attract the people that this truth fits with.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, they might not resonate with what's coming through with my channel, but there's several other channelers you can connect with. But what's most importantly is you connect with yourself. So that's the big one. So whatever works. It's to raise your vibration. Whatever works to raise your vibration. That's what matters.
Well, you do emanate a nice vibration.
Good.
Yeah, you do, and you can feel that and see that in the videos as well. Because I would say that you're doing it for the right reasons,
Yeah.
and yes, and that's not an easy place to come from sometimes, because
No,
it's not. It really isn't. So hats off for you for doing that, and other things can come in the way to test you sometimes to put you off your course. Have you found that?
Oh yeah, I found that all right. Yes. Apparently that's just beginning too, but yes, I have definitely found that. That's okay. It just makes me stronger. The more the dark works, the more powerful the light becomes. So the dark has its place in the world, that's for sure.
Oh, that is, yeah, absolutely. That is
Yeah,
for sure.
And it does increase. The more negative that comes through, the more the faster we ascend into a higher density, depending on who you are. But it's definitely helping me raise my vibration. That's for sure.
So, here's an interesting aspect of your work as well, which is fascinating. You could actually channel anyone's higher self. You know, they don't
Yes.
have to be passed on because you're connecting with that aspect of them that's always will be and always has been.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah, it's not a violation or anything like that. You're not reading their energy.
That's
So-
bloody interesting. Wow. Okay. Yeah, because, you know, you've got some fascinating channelings you've done. I remember when Prince passed away and I saw you pop up that you done a channeling on Prince. It was just amazing. It was like, that's really cool what you've just done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Prince, that was. I mean, I even had videos before I was going to talk about Prince, and then all of a sudden I'm feeling his energy. It's like, man, that was quick. It's like usually I don't feel him cross over that fast, but he was very spiritual, so it makes sense.
Yes, he was actually. Yes, that's right.
Very
Yeah.
So he knows most of his fans aren't going to believe it, and that's okay. And he doesn't want to talk about his death, but he does want to assist as much as he can. That's for sure.
Yes.
With the
Well, yeah. Well, in his music, which will live on forever, I suppose
Yes.
that is part of that natural assistance,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. God, it's incredible, isn't it? So, okay, so higher self. So that's an interesting part here. I mean, that would make an interesting reading for people, I think. That's so different. I also believe as well, we've had David Icke on the show. He was a bit of an inspiration for you, or at least
Yeah.
you did resonate with his work, didn't you?
Oh yes. I was a big fan of David Icke for a long time. I believed in everything, and after a while I got skeptical because I never saw a reptilian. But I was definitely, and now I channel him, so now I definitely see what he's talking about. Yeah, they are in higher dimensions, yes, and I've made a couple of them pretty angry, so they do show themselves. So I have seen them like on the side of your eye sometimes. I've seen them. So yeah, they do exist. They're in density, higher fourth density.
Do you find in this work that you do, where you are right now, do you have a mentor?
Not at this time, no. I'm just my own mentor.
Just your own mentor, yep. Are you able to mix with people on the same level in person where you are?
Yes, for the most part. I think so.
No, sorry. What I mean by that, sorry. Are there spiritual people in your life, in your circle, in your physical circle, or that you can talk about what we're like as we're discussing now this subject, or do you have many spiritual friends? I suppose that's what I'm saying in the physical.
Yeah, I have spiritual friends in the physical. Yes.
Yeah,
It's online, but yes.
No, but it doesn't matter, does it? I think just to have a few around you now and then, it just helps. Just for you, just to give you that bit of support. That's all.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I do have these conversations. Yes.
Yeah. Lee Carroll does a channeling event. Maybe once a year. He has been doing it in Sedona, and he gets a lot of channelers to come together and come on stage to speak their truths. It'd be great to connect you up with that maybe.
Yeah.
That might be good. I mean, I can't guarantee anything, but I mean, what I'm suggesting is that maybe we can connect you up with Lee Carroll, because I do think it's good to have some support from other people doing the same thing sometimes, and I think that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. I never heard of that. I never heard of Lee Carroll. Maybe I have, but yes, I'll be interested in that. Definitely.
Yeah, he channels an entity called Cryon.
Oh yes, I know Cryon. Yeah.
Yes.
I've channeled Cryon too. Oh, I know exactly.
Well, he actually gets people to come on the stage who also channel Cryon. Yes, he's quite a yeah. I'll connect you up, but the thing is, actually going on from there, where he's actually okay about Cryon coming through other people. There are some channels like the Seth material where Seth did say that no one else will he communicate with except for through Jane Roberts, and then Seth does come through other people, and the other people that bring Seth through are accused of trickery.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I don't think it's trickery though. I haven't connected to who channels them, but some beings like Bashar, I tried to channel Bashar, never had any success, but I have connected to Bashar, but never had truly. Actually, sometimes I think some of his messages do come through when I connect to the SSI. So I see what they're talking about because there's some beings that are, off limits. Bashar is one of them, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
With Seth, it was very interesting. The more I've sort of delved into the material, in the sense that actually Seth was actually channeling another entity above him or her, called Seth 2. So it makes you think, doesn't it, that when you cross over, there is potentially infinitive levels for the soul to continue on to. I mean, we call them maybe dimensions as another word, or I don't really know how to personify it really. And maybe those different levels are each channeling one above the other to bring in new teaching information for them to go on to the next level.
Yes, I believe so. Definitely. Yeah, we don't always know exactly where these entities. We don't always know where these entities are coming from. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yes,
and I suppose be prepared to be shocked and surprised at some of the information that you're going to bring through in the not too distant future as well.
Yeah, that's true. I've been already, then connecting to the Galactic Federation of Light, and they say we are in acceptance, as being accepted into it. We're going through the review process, and it's part of the Galactic Federation's, the aliens, and once we are fully accepted, meaning, but that's like 400 years from now to be fully accepted.
Yeah.
We are in the process. That's why they're communicating more with us, and they will continue their communication with us, increasing it, definitely.
Yeah. Like I've said at the beginning of this interview, doing the channeling isn't for the faint-hearted, because once you've crossed over that line to do this, it's very difficult for some people to see you in a particular light again. Not everyone. Most people are okay with it, right? But
yes.
It is on the very fringe, isn't it, of acceptable, and but that's never stopped me or you and any others from doing it. But anyone that's coming into this needs just to remind themselves of that. I think that it's not. It's like anything, isn't it? When you go in alignment with your path, it will just flow. But I'm just saying, on the unconscious picture, people see it from a different perspective sometimes, don't they?
Oh yes. Well, I mean, we all have a soul, and that soul is energy. And now we are in this channeling process. We're getting to know more about our soul. Getting to know, because when you connect with spirit, you become more powerful. And we are in that direction now of becoming more of the power that we already are. But in this experience, of course, in the human experience, and you can say it downgraded us, but to experience this in the third density or fourth density energies. But now with the higher energies coming through, we're now connecting more to our power. We'll be able to do telekinesis, telepathy, and many other things. So that's where we're heading. So it's understandable this isn't ready. Everyone isn't ready for all this, is because you didn't grow up with it. If you grew up with it, it'd be a different story. So
yes, that is true. Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. Okay. Well, it's going to be very interesting to watch you and to see where your path leads. I mean, you're in the very early stages of it. I mean, 37. I try to remind myself that 38. It's nothing. It's nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's there's many years to and things to happen yet. So, what would you say is an important message to the audience?
To keep an open mind. Remember, the more positive you are, however direction you want to go in. I mean, you can choose whatever you want, but connecting to the positive energies will help you heal, help you through situations that are negative, and help you have a more positive outlook on such as financial, health. Having more of a positive outlook, connecting more with spirit will help you through life. So, through meditation, So even negative beings, I imagine, know how to do meditation. So the more you connect to your spiritual side, you become, infinite. You become almost immortal, you can say. That's what I would say. So with no limitations, we are here with many limitations here. Like what Bashar says, we're master of limitation, but we're connecting to spirit so we can be limitless with no limitations.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you feel that the law of attraction comes into your work as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
That's very, very interesting. Well, look, I'm losing my voice here, and I'm sorry about this. But look, we've barely scratched the surface of your work, okay? And I would advise people to go to your website to find out a bit more about yourself as well. I wish you all the best for what you're going to be doing, and I'd just like to say, Ivan Teller, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Anytime, yeah. Thank you for having me. So much love.
Well, we've come to an end on tonight's show. Don't forget that you can listen and watch all our past interviews on the More Show's official YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily shows. You may also find out more on our past and upcoming guests on themoreshow.com, and do like us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.